Hello, everybody. Welcome to our virtual open house on sustainability and environmental science at Wells College. We're really pleased to have you with us. I'm not gonna lie, it's a rainy and drizzly day here at Wells College, but still beautiful. Set in a peaceful little village right on the shore of Cayuga Lake. This is the longest of the Finger Lakes. We're here to talk today to you about your future. What does a bright future mean to you? Does it mean happiness, professional success, personal accomplishments, financial gains, health, peace of mind, peace in the world? When you think about a bright future, are you thinking about what it means for you? What do you think about it means for your family, for your community? What about the world around you? At Wells College, we're all about your bright future. Our mission is to teach you to think critically, reason wisely, act humanely, as you cultivate your meaningful life. And now more than ever, people who hold that mission dear are essential. And that's what I think about when I think about a bright future. At Wells, you're going to have unmatched personal attention. We have a 9-to-1 student to faculty ratio. We offer you individual advising to help you plan and prepare for your future, a diverse range of academic programs. Here you can create your own major, all on a campus where everybody seems to know each other on a first name basis. Small is powerful, and Wells proudly is a small college. We have fewer than 400 students, so we can do everything one student at a time. We guarantee that you're going to have close and meaningful interactions and connections with faculty. We can assure you that you'll have access to all of our resources and programs, and we will hear your voice in and out of the classroom. We care about every one of you. And before you know it, you will become part of a network of Wells College alumni who span the globe and still consider Wells College to be their home. Wells College provides everything you'd expect from a top liberal arts college: stellar faculty, academic rigor, all those things to develop the life of your mind. And our curriculum goes well beyond the liberal arts, blending real-world experiences. Every student at Wells pursues internships of one type or another, and you can even do your first internship at the end of next semester. Our innovative academic programs offer interdisciplinary, career-oriented experiences. So whatever you choose to study, you're going to gain the knowledge and the skills that you need to succeed. And we are a community with over 100 years of history and traditions. Wells College has a real living honor code that our students sign their names to when they arrive on campus. And our students and alumni seek to bring the principles of that honor code out into the world. Ask any Wells student or graduate whether they are odd or even, and you'll quickly see how our history and our traditions bind and connect generations of Wellsians. You are on an exciting journey. You're about to make one of the most important decisions ever in your life. Which college is going to prepare you for your future? Your college education is an investment, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a better value than that of a Wells College education. A nationally recognized private college combining the liberal arts with real-world experience, a breathtaking campus environment, even under a drizzly day like today, a small, inclusive, and surprisingly diverse community, all at a net cost that is among the lowest of like institutions. And we are open. As we speak, our students are here on campus. They're attending classes, they're eating in the dining hall, they're engaged in various activities on this home away from their home. We're offering in-person campus visit options throughout each week, including our Friday and Saturday Destination Wells programs. You can find more information about that at wells.edu/visit. All of our visit activities are properly socially distanced, and we look forward to safely welcoming you to our campus. So let's have a meaningful conversation about Wells College and your bright future. We've assembled a panel to represent the Wells family and give you deeper insights into sustainability, which is not only a major at Wells, but I would say a core value of the Wells College community, and our environmental science major. Now, we have admission team members in the chat. And the way this will work, we're going to do some introductions, and then you'll be able to pose questions. And to do that, you just pose the questions in the chat function and send your questions to all panelists and attendees. So at this moment, I'll ask my colleagues on our panel to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
Hi, everybody. My name is Feleesha Jones. I am a sustainability major, and I absolutely love the environment. So I'm a part of a couple of clubs, including Forces and Campus Greens. I'm a student athlete. I'm a part of this fun team. And not only am I a part of the online coaches, but I am also an admissions tour guide, and I'm on community court. I really love Wells College because I love being immersed in the atmosphere. So welcome.
Hello, I'm Shea. I am a senior environmental science major. I am also a student athlete. I play baseball. I'm a student health ambassador. I was able to study abroad in Cork, Ireland, and I'm currently serving as vice chair for our conference student athlete advisory committee. And I chose Wells and continue to enjoy Wells because of the personal, hands-on education that we're able to receive. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Katie Sweeney, and I'm an alum of Wells College. So I graduated in 2015. My degree while I was at Wells was a Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Sciences with a focus in biology. And I think I was the very first sustainability minor ever at Wells, which is really cool. And right now I'm a graduate student at WSU, Washington State University at Vancouver. So I'm over in Washington State where it's nice and sunny. And I've done a variety of jobs since then that I'd be happy to tell you about more later. But I loved Wells for, the location and the community. It's just a really pleasant place to build a future career.
Hello, everybody. My name is Niamh O'Leary. I'm a professor in the environmental science program here at Wells College. And I came to Wells, I started off in Cork, Ireland, grew up there, and then came to the United States and came to Cornell and ended up staying in the Finger Lakes area. At Wells, I teach introductory classes and upper level classes and everything in between. I work with students independently as part of senior thesis projects and other projects. So I love teaching and love the classroom. I also do a lot of advising and working with students individually on their academic program and trying to match them with opportunities so that they can build their skills and explore careers for after Wells. So it's great to be here and great to be with the rest of the panel.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Schnurr. I am a professor of biology, mostly focused on ecology and plant biology and environmental science. I've been at Wells now for about 17 years. All of the students on the panel, including Katie, have had me as a professor. I teach courses in ecology and evolution, biology of organisms, but also terrestrial field biology and geology. I like to get students outside. One of my favorite things about being at Wells is that we are right on the lake and we are right surrounded by forest. And so there are so many opportunities for students to do research projects. We have lots of different habitats to work in. And I really enjoy doing research with students. I have 3 students doing research projects with me this semester alone. So I'm happy to work with students on their interests and to help them pursue pathways for the future.
Hi, everyone. I'm Marion Brown. I direct the Center for Sustainability in the Environment, which is both part of the sustainability academic program support, and I also serve as the center, the hub for helping to create a living learning environment here on campus that models more sustainability thinking and practice in the way our campus operates. And all that serves to reinforce what students learn in our classrooms about how to live and work more sustainably. You can see some of the courses that I teach in the sustainability academic program. I also program a number of speaker series on campus where we bring in experts. Some Wells alums out there have come back to speak on their further career in sustainability fields. We also operate right now the Wells College Seed Exchange, which is just sort of an interesting side activity where we collect seeds from various seed companies and then just freely distribute them to gardeners and growers in the area. It's kind of fun. So let me tell you a little bit about the sustainability program. Sustainability may not be something you're conversant in. What we frame sustainability as here at Wells is as a decision-making framework, making more informed decisions. In our academic program, you learn about the connections, whether they conflict with one another or they support one another among what are referred to as the 3 pillars of sustainability: the environment, society, and the economy. And we teach how to mindfully consider and try to balance those 3 areas in order to make more sustainable choices and take more sustainable actions. We do offer a major in sustainability. It's one of only about a dozen such undergraduate academic programs here in New York State, and there aren't that many actually in the nation. But we also offer 3 sustainability minors that you can pursue alongside other majors, like Katie did with her environmental science major, did the sustainability minor. There is also a sustainable food systems minor, and our newest minor is sustainable business, which is the intersection between sustainability and business. The major has a number of required courses that are going to give you a grounding in those 3 areas that we talk about up top: the environment, society, and economy. So you might find yourself taking courses in a number of those areas. But then you can tailor it to go deeper into those areas through electives that you want to deepen your knowledge. So you might take more natural science classes, or you might take some specialized economics courses, or further explore the human factor of sustainability through various relevant offerings in the social sciences, including classes in anthropology, sociology, political science, business, psychology, and others. So you're going to learn at least a little bit about a whole lot of global sustainability challenges. And as Gerard mentioned at the top, we want you to learn to think critically about those sustainability challenges and develop problem-solving skills. Both our sustainability major and minor have an internship requirement in which you gain real-world experience, where you bring to bear your new sustainability knowledge and test drive those problem-solving skills. Sustainability majors also have a senior capstone requirement in which you synthesize all your prior coursework in the major to bring it to focus on a project that you devise. You create your own course in this case, where you create and deliver on a research project or an applied learning activity related to sustainability. You'll hear more about this, but there are also a significant number of study abroad options in which you can learn about global sustainability issues by immersing yourself in communities as far-flung around the globe as Costa Rica or Ireland, as Derek did, Germany, Kenya, and Tasmania, to name just a few.
Yeah, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the environmental science program. Environmental science and sustainability both focus on the planet and on planet Earth, and they have a lot in common. Our environmental science program, however, is coming at environmental concerns, really focusing on that scientific and technical perspective. So sustainability, I guess, is broader. It includes science, but it also has so much important economics and other considerations in there as well. We focus in environmental science on that kind of analytical approach to environmental issues and environmental problem solving. So the kinds of courses a student would take who's interested in environmental science would include things with a lot of labs, a lot of field work, so a lot of hands-on skills out and about and in the lab setting, and a lot of database and computer driven skills as well, including GIS, geographic information systems. So ecology type courses and applied ecology are coursework that all students would take as well. So we have a foundation of courses that all environmental science majors take, and then there are some electives depending on your interests. It is a broad field, and some students are interested in, let's say, chemistry, toxicology. You can take those courses to fulfill environmental science requirements. Some students are more interested in biology and sort of classic ecology. And we also have an avenue for students who are interested more in math and physics and engineering type approaches to environmental innovation and problem solving. So I just put together a few small photos here to help guide me through some things I wanted to mention as part of the program at Wells College. Very small classes, real individual attention, and I think a lot of thought and effort and focus put on trying to help our students get ready for when they graduate from Wells College. So even when you first arrive, even before you arrive, we're talking about what comes after college, because college is important and college is great, but it is a stepping stone to your future and your career. And we want to make the most of that with you. And there's a lot of job growth in environmental science. It's in the labor statistics that are published annually by the government, it's always a growing field. And so there's a lot of work for people with a bit of technical know-how. So we have good use of our environment. Professor Schnurr mentioned that as well. We have our lake nearby. We have forests, we have fields, we have farms. I teach sustainable agriculture. My background's in agricultural research. So that's one of the classes that I teach. And so we definitely use the local environment a lot, but we're not constrained by that. There's definitely opportunities to go beyond that. We have built-in internships into our environmental science program, and all at Wells College does involve really building in, forcing the work experience into the undergraduate experience, so that when you graduate, you'll not just have the degree, but you'll also have the work experience already. So I included a couple of logos here, one from the New York State Parks system. Katie mentioned that as well, because when she was a student, she got to get to know some state parks people through her work at Wells College and go on to work for them. And then we also have a group called the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network. It's a small nonprofit grassroots environmental organization, and they're headquartered right here on campus. So a lot of our students work with them and get some experience. SFS stands for the School for Field Studies. They are an organization that we affiliate with. They have locations around the world, one in Australia, which I profiled here, but they have multiple sites around the world. It's not a campus, it's a field station, essentially, and students go against small groups, 25 students from around different colleges, where they get experience in real communities working on real environmental problems. So whether that's Australia or Costa Rica or the Caribbean, there's a number of sites with different focuses around the world. So that's something to think about. It's not going to happen the first year you're in college, but the junior year is sometimes a good year for off-campus study. Research is definitely something that we do. Derek will tell you all about it because he's in the middle of his senior thesis project and wrapping that up as he gets closer to graduation. And we do have opportunities for our students to present research through poster session. There's a photo there of a recent grad, Molly, there, and to accompany professors or go on your own to professional conference opportunities where you can network, get all that stuff ready so that when you're graduating, you have a lot of different things already accomplished and that you can really highlight that and move on and be a good candidate for the opportunities after Wells. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm already excited to go to Costa Rica. If we can figure out how to work that out, that'd be great. So we've talked a little bit about, Niamh, you talked about Katie's experiences and kind of different jobs and things that she's done. Katie, I'm wondering if you can maybe go into a little bit more detail about some of those things and maybe speak to, what aspects of your Wells College experience really prepared you well for that.
Hi, absolutely. So without giving you, I guess, my entire resume, I've really jumped, I would say within, environmental science type fields, I've really jumped from, very different places to different places. I've worked with plants, I've worked in aquatics, I've worked with small mammals, I've worked with agencies, I've worked with ecological research institutions, I've worked for universities. So I think I have, somewhat wide array of experience and really just a short amount of time since I've graduated Wells. And it's every progressive year and every new phase of my life, I've found myself looking back at Wells, sort of, almost surprised, not to speak ill of Wells at all, but surprised that, how much I ended up learning from Wells and how much that was applicable to my current career, my current job at the time. And, even especially, I would say, especially with how different each of my jobs have been since graduation, that just, if there was maybe one lab in one course that I took with Professor Schnurr, there was another lab that I took with Professor O'Leary, that helped provide me with the skills to get through some of these jobs that, when I first go in, I was like, oh man, I just don't know anything about how to do this job right. But you get into it and it's like, actually, no, I am very well prepared for that. And so it was funny, just, my surprise, I would say, at the end of things, with how well Wells set me up for those different careers. But I will say, though, that the most influential, I would say, part of that, aside from how caring the community is just those internships that we previously talked about. I didn't have the opportunity to go abroad, but I assume that's also very influential for me in my time. I think I did an internship every summer that I was at Wells, at every possible turn, and that was probably the most influential part of Wells on my career, and has led me more so into the field of aquatic ecology, and set me up with a lot of those skills that I use on a daily basis.
So you did at least 4 distinct internships, if not more.
I think I did 3. So I was actually at Wells from 2012 to 2015. So I was able to put a 4-year program into 3 years.
Wow. Okay. Sometimes students or alumni will talk about internships as experiences to kind of clarify what it is they like and sometimes don't like. Were those experiences clarifying for you in some way?
Yeah, I think so, to an extent. More skewed towards the side of things that I like to do. So that was definitely a benefit. I would say more of the things that I disliked about certain jobs or skills came to me after graduating college, after leaving Wells, and just exploring more of the world about, what sort of, potential directions were open to me. And I got a little bit more knowledge about what I preferred to do versus what I didn't prefer to do. So those definitely come in time, but internships are a great opportunity to figure out that as well.
So I'm looking at our 2 students right now who are hearing a bit more about Katie's story, and I'm wondering what thoughts are coming to mind and how you're relating that to your current experiences and activities at Wells.
Well, go ahead, Derek, you first.
Well, to bounce off that internship thing, I had a different experience of finding out what I didn't want to do after college. My internship ended up being more in the environmental management side than the science side, and that was kind of eye-opening to me. But also just what she's saying about readiness in the job field. I think that with the small class sizes, I was able to present probably 20, 25 times in my 4 years. And now, like, when you enter college, you're thinking about the thesis like this big daunting thing. And now the presentation doesn't seem so bad because I presented in intro classes. That's not something you do at a huge school. And as far as other experiences, you get computer lab experience, like with ArcGIS, you get field sampling, you get wet lab, like in a chemistry lab. There's so many experiences that you get here that you wouldn't get when there's 80, 100 people in a class. You're a lot of times with some of that lab work, the teacher just does it and then you're dealing with the results. So I think that was really influential here.
And I think in regard to the internship, I had the complete opposite experience. The internship that I did over the summer set me on track for what I wanted to do because I was exposed to, I ended up working on a tall ship over the summer and teaching students environmental science and what I had learned not only from my Wells classes, but from my high school experience too. So it was like combining everything that I had learned in labs and then went out and taught other people about it while being on the ocean. So it like completely set me up for what this idea I have for my future and kind of set me in my path. So it's nice because like Derek is saying, you get all of these tools and you don't realize that you're filling your toolbox because it's just information that you're just learning about it, you're putting it away and you don't realize that you're going to use it. And then somebody asks you, hey, do you know how to do this? And you can say yes. You can say yes, and then you can teach somebody else how to do it. So it's a nice feeling.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you just said, Derek. I think those points that you brought up were really important about how small whales is and how tailored some of those experiences can be. And I guess they came into really good use, especially right after my graduation when I was looking for careers. And in applying for jobs, I was able to say because of those internships and because of these experiences I've had within labs that, I could already say right at graduation that I've got 2 years experience at some, in some cases with this particular skill. So I think that was extremely beneficial heading right into the job market right after graduation.
Yeah, that's where I'm at with ArcGIS. I feel like that's something that sets me apart from most people. It's not like I'm the only one that knows ArcGIS, but it's definitely an important skill, and I've been able to use it here, which I'm not sure that every campus has that option.
So this, one of the themes I'm hearing here is access to things that you might not get at a larger institution. And I think sometimes the misconception around a smaller college is maybe you don't have the resources or because you're small, but that seems not to be the case. And I'll look to my faculty colleagues perhaps to kind of expound on that a little bit. And I'm also interested in, we're talking about local opportunities, in the local region in terms of the rich natural resources that we have that, create an environment for this study.
Yeah, I can pick up on the last point. If you are interested in environmental science or sustainability, and you can study environmental science in a big city, maybe at a big campus, maybe at a small campus in an urban setting, and there's some stuff that you can do, but you're not going to be able to have outside your door the ability to interact with birds and fish and trees and soils and so on the way we can. So there's definitely that immediacy and the ability to do a lot in a short amount of time when we have such easy access, no traffic, to get from A to B close to campus. So we do use the area. There's a lot of state parks around here, wetlands. It's part and parcel of environmental science, certainly. And it's something that, again, one of my themes that I talk to students a lot about is just versatility and doing a lot of different things, so that when you graduate, you're not just a specialist in one very narrow thing, but that you're well-rounded and that you have a bit of this and a bit of that. And it's not just in the academic program. It includes athletics, leadership, clubs, traditions, you know, whatever residence life, it's really a lot of different kinds of things that you're getting experience with, because you don't know what the future is going to bring, what particular job is going to want some combination of different things. And so you want to do as much as you can. You want to be a teaching assistant if you can. Some people are an RA. It's important, and it definitely helps a lot to get you to be a valuable candidate for opportunities after graduation.
And I guess I would jump in on the access, because I could think of it in a different way, right? We have access to the outside world. So, you know, anything that you want to do that would be outside, you could go and do, but you also have access to us. And I think that all of us are very approachable, and we like it when students stop in and say, hey, I've been thinking about, and, you know, I've had so many great conversations with students with things that they might have noticed that I didn't notice, or something that they found outside and they didn't know what it was. And, you know, and it's just the ability for students to just stop in and learn from us. And, you know, we're there to help you guys do whatever that you need to do. And I'm going to give a plug again for the access. We have a waterfall on campus. And so my geology class hikes up to this waterfall where you can see geology in action. And it's like, you know, a mile down the stream, and the stream itself is a fun hike to do for students who have hiked it. And so, you know, the opportunities to get outside, to get dirty, to investigate what's happening right then is really amazing. And it's also, even like today, I was going to take my students out to look for fungus. It wasn't planned, but I saw a whole bunch of mushrooms outside the other day, and I thought, you know, today's a great day to take them out. And then of course it poured. So we didn't do that, but we could, you know, we're flexible, and we have that opportunity, which you might not have in a different location where you'd have to get in a car and you'd have to drive and you'd have to get somewhere. And, you know, we just walk out of the building to do it.
I would think also, if I can add a little bit more about access, it's not only been access to us as faculty, but access to our networks of professional and collegial relationships out there with organizations. Jackie, for instance, has a great relationship with New York State Parks because of the Forces Club. We have relationships with Discover Cayuga Lake, which operates the floating classroom on Cayuga Lake. Actually, the very first picture when we started the slideshow was of a class on that vessel out on the lake. And in fact, Katie, I believe, was an intern for the floating classroom in one of her many internships. But we also have a great alumni network, and they are incredibly interested in supporting Wells students, both while they're here, but afterwards. They've been incredibly generous about supporting and providing information for research projects that you might be doing, placements for internships, you sort of name it, you know, finding career paths afterwards and connections to potential employers. So it's access to the natural world, but it's access also to this social network, if you will, around Wells.
Several people have mentioned research already, and I'm wondering if we could talk a little bit about that. Why is that important? What kinds of research do our students do? How does that work with faculty and that collaboration?
Yeah, I guess I can start on that because I'm kind of in the tail end of my own research. So I've been doing my research on using ArcGIS to compare shark movements to marine protected areas. And it's kind of just been a culmination of my interests growing up. I grew up in Rhode Island, so I was always near the ocean. And sharks are cool. I don't think anybody will say otherwise, besides the fact that sometimes they can be a little scary. And then also the tools I gained here in ArcGIS, and I realized that was an interest of mine, just that analysis side. So the value in research for me is really, you have the tools and they give you the keys and just say, figure out what you want to do and get it done. And that's kind of that's how it's going to be in the job place, or workplace. They're not going to walk you step by step. You're going to have to figure it out on your own. And it's also just a lot of fun because it's your own interests. Research is what you want to do. It's not what the teacher has you do. And that's honestly a trend in a lot of the classes that I've been in. There's a lot of freedom in the research you do for either papers or presentations. And I like that a lot. And it's definitely helped me up to this point because it's not a first time doing this. It's 5 or 6 times before, and this is just the one that matters.
Yeah, I'll just add, it's a real, pleasure from our side of the classroom to see students show initiative and have the opportunity to express initiative and do things that we don't absolutely, lay out and require, but that are an option for every student. And so in addition to Derek, who's talking about his thesis project in environmental science, this year we've also had other independent projects, one in a local wetlands looking at reptiles and amphibians, another one based more on microscope work and looking at the impact of pharmaceuticals on Daphnia, another person who's from West Africa, from Liberia, one of our international students, was interested in working with an environmental curriculum that she would really like to, and has already actually made inroads into bringing into schools in Liberia. And so I like leaving it open-ended and working with what students have some interest in and giving enough guideposts to help, but the research experience is very independent, and that's what builds the confidence and the competence along the way. Katie remembers her senior thesis projects as well, and Feleesha has it all ahead of her. And I know in sustainability, there were several very interesting projects for senior thesis and other research projects as well this year, Marion, right?
Right, I was going to say we have one of our graduates this spring had a thesis project looking at how she might apply her background in ground source heat pump technology to the campus community. It was very, she did intensive work learning about it, but also trying to apply that. Another student went back to her high school actually and worked with both the administration and the dining program coordinator to see what the impact of COVID has been on the reusables situation, reusable dining ware, and whether, how that has impacted the school district and how it might change coming back from COVID. A third senior capstone project that was presented at the end of the fall semester was a student who is a sustainability major but minoring in psychology, and she was looking at what are the drivers of sustainable practices, especially around procurement behaviors, what kinds of things, consumer buying habits, and how might your childhood experience, whether you felt you had a sense of privation in your childhood or whether you were, relatively well off, how does that inform your current thinking about making more sustainable buying choices? And this spring, one of our seniors who is a double major in sustainability and business, is looking to put the two together and further develop her idea for creating her own farm to table business and researching that. So as Niamh said, it goes anywhere you want it to go. It's, our role in this is to help smooth the skids, if you will, help you find resources to help support your research, but it's what you want to do and where you want to take it. Feleesha, in fact, this summer is going to be part of a faculty student project research team that's going to be working with local gardeners to interview them, do an ethnographic study of why they do what they do. Why did they get into gardening? What kinds of gardening? What are the things they see related to cultural changes, climate change, you name it. It's going to be a fascinating research project. And
Yeah.
It'll be 3 faculty and 3 students, and we'll see where it goes, but it's, a unique opportunity.
And I kind of want to jump in because you two are very good about talking about senior theses, but I want to say that all of our classes have research projects in them, right? So, in my ecology and evolution class, there's a question that comes up: why don't seedlings grow under hemlock trees? And every year I have the students design their own experiments. I mean, this is their first semester as a student, and I obviously will give them some tools and some feedback and help them along the way, but throughout my classes, there are independent research projects. It's not something that you just are thrown into as a senior, so you really are prepared. One of my favorite projects was one Derek did, actually, in animal behavior. He was working on these little roaches, actually, and we didn't think they climbed. And we went in the next day and they had all climbed into different containers. They were all still there. They didn't get away. They just climbed from one container to another, and they actually paired up. Males and females were in. So poor Derek had to figure out what his project changed, but he was able to roll with it. And it was just, I love that story. It's one of my favorite stories, research project.
It's a great point, Jackie, because, certainly even in our intro to sustainability class, students design a team project that they have to deliver on to try to solve a sustainability challenge on campus. And as Derek mentioned, at the end of that, they present to the class. This, for many of them, this is their first semester on campus. And so by the time you get to be a senior, you're probably sick of presenting to your peers on campus, but you are not afraid of it anymore. You know how to do it and how to focus it and how to use technology appropriately and frame it and do a great job, these are important life skills. Those are things that future employers are looking at, the ability to be part of groups, part of teams, problem solve, and present your ideas.
One question we have is related to clubs and organizations. Are there clubs and organizations specific to these areas of interest, and maybe a little bit about just in general about living on campus?
Well, I'll take for the sustainability program, the club that's most closely aligned is the Wells Campus Greens, and they tend to do a variety of activities. It's been a little more awkward for them during COVID to do some of their normal activities, but they'll do bonding events, host movies. They do an apple pie bake in the fall with local apples that they go out and harvest from a farm with which we have an affiliation.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody missed it this year. Various and sundry things, but as Feleesha alluded to, there's a little bit of overlap. So she's in Wells Campus Greens. They'll do a lot of cleanups. We're looking right now at Earth Week coming up. That's their big programming week, and we're hoping to do our first highway cleanup. We've adopted a highway section as a campus and hope to do our first highway cleanup during that Earth Week celebration. But Jackie, do you want to talk about forces and how that's related but different?
I wanted Feleesha to talk about it because she's in forces and she's in greens.
So it's kind of cool because Campus Greens is more focused on what's happening on campus, whereas Forces kind of goes out and branches on like our local community. So I know in Love Your Park Day, we can go to, we're actually really close to Long Point Park. It's a national park, right? Somebody correct me. Not a national park,
It's a
just
state park. Yeah,
state park, sorry.
Yeah.
So Long Point is a state park that we've actually done some work with. We had planned on doing some cleanups of the trails and repainting signs. So it's nice because you get to go out into your community and you get to see and be immersed in the nature that you're around. So not only do you get to stay on campus, but you get to learn about the people that are around you and learn about the forestry that's around you. So taking part in not only cleanups, but like getting to know your community that participates in your parks is nice because you get to know people and then you also get to clean up what's important to you, which is the world. So being a part of
and I can at least point in that. So Forces is a collaboration between local campuses and the New York State Park Association. So it really is a New York State Parks program. And there are multiple campuses that have clubs. And so we have one, ESF has one, and they do summits, they do research projects. I think the summit is today, maybe?
I don't
So
know.
they're doing a virtual summit. You know, this year is different, but in the past, you know, they move around from campus to campus, and so the students get to see what other campuses are doing. But there's also a lot of jobs that are available with forces, and so I think that might be where Katie, you ended up with the forces, but it really is a way of getting your foot in the door with working with New York State parks, and they really are an important part of our environment around here. Like Feleesha said, Long Point is right down the road. Fillmore Glen is in Moravia. I'm sure Taganik Falls. I know that Professor O'Leary takes her class there, and so we use the state parks a lot. So it's nice for us to be able to give back to them.
One event
Yeah,
that just
I can-
happened was we were able to help the salamanders and all of the like amphibians cross the road because they need a little help because, you know, people come in into the environment. So we just got to give them a little push and make sure that they all get across safe.
Yeah, I'd like to jump off of what you guys all said, you know, that these clubs, you know, especially those two that we've already mentioned, but really all of the clubs, there's so many available at Wells College. And I'm assuming, you know, maybe more so now, and that, you know, the current students could tell you probably more about, you know, what available clubs there are now. But, you know, I think that the clubs, I was mostly involved in forces and campus greens during my time as a student as well. And they've sort of served like a three-pronged benefit to me. You know, one, you know, campus greens were a lot of where my friends were at. So it was a really nice de-stressor, right? Doing something we all cared about, doing something that was fun on campus, you know, easy to access. It was just so much fun, really. And like making pies, you know, none of it was stressful. Forces actually. So I was one of the founding members of Forces. So I'm really glad that it's still alive, and I'm happy to see that it's, you know, really taken off. So I'm so happy to hear that. But Forces allow, you know, as you said, allowed us to get out into the community, but it also helped lead me to one of the jobs I took after Wells, after graduation, where I started working for the state park system. And I ended up actually going through, I think we visited 35 different state parks throughout New York State within, you know, just the summer season, working on invasive species removals. And so that was one of my post-graduation jobs that directly led from participating in a club on campus. And, you know, forgive me, I forgot my third point. Oh, I remember now. I'm sorry. So my third point too was just that something that was brought up a little bit before was, you know, the experiences garnered at Wells. How does that provide you, you know, with the skills you needed for, you know, life after graduation? And apart from just networking, also, you know, especially in forces, having been a founding member, understanding how a club works, how to work with team members, how to, you know, balance a budget, things like that. Those are all skills that I learned by being part of forces. And those are skills that I've been able to transfer here. So right now I'm a graduate student or trying to earn my master's degree at Washington State University. And I've actually become a founding member of the Graduate Student Association here. And so now we're advocating for graduate student rights, you know, higher pay and, you know, better healthcare, all sorts of things like that. And I wouldn't have had the confidence or the skills to be able to help do something like that, as important as something like that, without initially becoming involved in forces when I was at Wells College.
Katie, you underscored something that I think is really important, which is that, you know, that clubs and organizations, it's not just about entertaining yourself or having something fun to do. There's actually a lot of good research out there that underscores that students learn a lot about leadership and gain valuable skills from that effort. I'll tell you, I think a club that we should have, if we don't, is clearly a shark oriented club. And I don't know if Feleesha wants to share any information or expand upon that along with Derek.
I'm happy to lay out all the information that I know about sharks, all on the table.
Shark Week Watch Fest.
Summer, 8 p.m.
Yeah, but really there's clubs for pretty much any interest you want. I have teammates that are like interested in the gaming club, and it kind of connects different groups across campuses, because it's not like, oh, they're on the baseball team. It's like, oh, we see each other for this club or whatever. It really connects the whole campus, and that's what's great about Wells. It's everybody's interconnected pretty much, as long as you're open to talking to people and meeting new people.
There's really clubs for every interest. If you have something that you're interested in and you can get enough people to join and talk about it, then you can make a club. Like we have Pride Club, we have Emoja. It's really whatever. I always say on my tours, whatever floats your boat. And if you can find enough people, you can make a club or just join a club. So it's nice because it not only does it like give you an opportunity to learn, but it also gives you an opportunity to meet new people on campus. Because even now in COVID, like we're still meeting in clubs. We're still being able to talk about pride and all the things that we can do. We're still trying to get together with forces and get those events planned because it's what we want to do. So we're going to do it.
Both Feleesha and Derek alluded to the fact that you don't have to pick sports or clubs, which on some campuses you might have to. That you can, it's the best of all worlds. You can kind of follow whatever sports you want to play that we offer, but then also on the side, as Derek said, find a new cohort of people that are interested in some other topic. So it's
one of the other things that was brought up, we talked a bit about, local opportunities and things close to campus, but Derek, you've spent a semester, I think, away at Cork. And so there's also the aspect of studying abroad or studying away. And Feleesha, I know you have your sights set on an experience as well. So Derek, maybe we can start with you and talk about what you did and what you learned from that.
Yeah, I did like a traditional campus setting in Cork, Ireland, University College Cork. And really the original interest for me was just my family's from Ireland. Like I wanted to go to Ireland, but I was able to see like a different approach on their education. And also that school is known for environmental science and specifically like geology. So I took an intro to geology class there, and it was just amazing the different samples we were able to look at. Like we were able to look at so many different rocks and minerals that they just had laying around in their archives. And on top of that, I got to take an archaeology class, and we would go to sites from 6,000 BC, and living in the United States, like that doesn't even seem like a real time frame. You're like, oh, 1600s, that was old. But like it was incredible to see. Also, it was just like a fun semester. I met three new people from this campus, and I lived with them. And I was able to connect with people outside of my normal friend group, as well as see some amazing parts of the world. So it was all at the same price of what my normal room and board would be, thanks to the Henry Wells Scholarship. So it was really affordable and a lot more accessible than it would be at other schools. Like my sister was really jealous because she went to URI, and like if she wanted to go abroad, it's nowhere near the same cost as what it would be for her to just do a semester at URI. So I was really lucky in that way.
And Feleesha, what are you thinking about in terms of a study away opportunity?
Well, I have now been exposed to this opportunity in Australia thanks to O'Leary. I'm very excited about that. My goal after Wells is hopefully a master's in marine biology. So learning about the coral reefs in Australia is something that I'm really interested in, as well as we have a class offered here that studies Hawaiian culture. So that's my next goal. That's my like up and coming goal in the next semester, is to learn more about Hawaiian culture and hopefully go in January. So.
So let me pause there, and I'm going to ask my faculty colleagues, or any of us actually, are we missing anything here? Is there anything else that needs to be mentioned about environmental studies and sustainability at Wells? One of the things I wonder about, is, or not wonder about, I think I realize this is the case, that the activities of students in particular committed to sustainability have had an impact on campus in terms of various policies and practices. I don't know if we want to talk a little bit about how that's taken shape and what that means.
Well, we, as I mentioned in our Sustainability 101 class, the Introduction to Sustainability, student teams have to come together around a sustainability challenge that they've identified and come up with some way to resolve that issue, or at least take a run at it. So they've come up with projects early on, certainly around recycling, but around compost collection, about food pantry access on campus. It's hard to think of all of them that they've done, you know, conservation programs around water, creating gardens on campus. There've been multiple runs at how we might use our campus landscape for gardening. And in fact, that led to the creation of some raised bed gardens on campus and the creation of a half semester gardening class that runs each fall and spring semester now to learn more about gardening. So it's based a lot on student interest and where that goes. There's those are just some that you caught me off guard on that one. I don't have to think about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to add, Marion, because you know, of course, all these things about the high rating we have overall for campus sustainability with all the work that you've done and the various levels of sustainability that we've achieved overall in the last few years, thanks to your center.
Well, and I think a lot, it's not the center. The center is collecting information. It's basically the whole campus community. It's creating a culture of support for sustainability and thinking about how to be more sustainable in what we do and the way we live and work here on campus. And again, a lot of student activity has gone into formulating that changed behavioral practice in a lot of cases. Students asking, well, why do we have antibacterial soap in the bathroom? Doesn't that lead to the rise of antibiotic resistant bacteria? And so the facilities folks took that under advisement and got rid of that. And so it can come in a variety of different ways, but again, we want students to come in, ask questions, be open, but also challenge us a little bit. We don't want this to be a one-way flow of information and ideas. We really want to engage the campus community, especially our students who are going to be here working and living closer to a lot of the things going on campus than those of us who work here and head home at the end of the day. So we definitely want to see students develop self-confidence and assertiveness to be able to present their ideas and make the case. I mean, we have had more students presenting to operational managers about things they see that they wonder about and wonder if there's a better way. And those operational managers are like, huh, yeah, I never thought about that. Sure, we can do that. Not always, but you know, a well-reasoned argument is valuable in terms of selling and making a business case for making a more sustainable change on campus. And so students have underpinned a lot of that good work that we have taken on and for which we're nationally recognized, which is great.
Yeah, so it all goes back to our mission, and you know, so remember, think critically, reason wisely, act humanely as you cultivate a meaningful life. And a meaningful life is one, I think anyway, that has impact. And we have that impact by the choices we make, the things we do in the world, and sustainability is all about that. So, you know, again, that's why I feel like sustainability is this core value for Wells. So I think that's a great kind of note to bring this to a conclusion. I want to give our panelists an opportunity to say a last bit. And fun thing we like to do at Wells is just kind of speak to our traditions, which we have many, and maybe, you know, leave folks with a sense of what's your favorite tradition at Wells, and or just a piece of advice for folks as they're thinking about their futures. So Feleesha, you look excited about this. So I'm going to start with you.
My favorite tradition at Wells is odd even. I love this tradition so much because it brings the entire Wells community together. It's a moment where everybody just cheers for each other and has a good time. Odd Even essentially is 2 seasons, the men's season and the women's season. The women's season is a sing-off and a kickball game. We did that this year because of COVID. Traditionally, it was a basketball game, but it's like our Greek life. It's where everybody is divided by team or projected graduation. I see the 3 of us are all odds, so odds are gods. But it's just a good time because you get the whole team to get like come out, support, scream, like chanting for you. So it's my favorite. Next semester I'm going to be a coach and I get to meet all the freshman babies and continue this tradition on. So that's my favorite tradition. I will stand by it till the day I die. I love it so much. I met all of the closest friends that I have here through this tradition. My sisters and I are like knit because of it. So I thank this tradition for them.
I have a couple of sort of corny answers to go off of what Feleesha said. So I guess since I graduated in 2015, that makes me an odd, but I came in during an even year. So I was supposed to graduate in 2016. So I'm kind of both an even and an odd. So I don't pledge any allegiances. I just love everybody. And so I love Even Odd. I think that's a great event and most folks also love it. I think one of my favorite traditions though, and hopefully it still happens, is Harry Potter night. I really look forward to Harry Potter night right around like the Halloween time of the year. The whole dining room gets a makeover and we get lots of sweet treats and I just think it's really cool. Big fan. And as far as other traditions, it's a little less of a tradition, maybe just something that I've really enjoyed from Wells is just the ability to think critically more than in just science. So environmental sciences and having the benefit of being in different institutions often gets lost in science a lot. But what you get from Wells is this thinking of, multidisciplinarity. You're thinking through the lens of a social scientist. You're thinking through the lens of an economist through a lens of a community organizer. And so just, all of these skills in various respects have been so important to me in various aspects of my life, and, more than just the science of the environment and sustainability. So that's something that I especially treasure from Wells. And just a brief, I guess, bit of sage of advice, having, been through this for a while, is just don't sweat the small stuff. Right? Your first year, you're going to be really stressed, very likely, to do the best that you possibly can. And of course, that's important, but it's not worth putting an extra 6 hours into something that's only going to yield you like a 1% increase in maybe a grade or satisfaction or something. So really, don't sweat the small stuff. And it's okay to just say that is good enough, right?
Awesome. Yeah, I also agree. Odd Even is probably my favorite tradition. I also like the junior mugs. I know it's less of a tradition. Well, it is obviously a tradition. And I have mine here. I'll drop the fruit snacks, but here we go. I like that it's a little something different than a class ring. And I got my Jack Sparrow quote there. It's just something fun that everybody has, and it kind of brings senior classes together because everybody has one, and it's not as it's more out there than a class ring. And then I guess the piece of advice I'll leave you guys with is just if you have an interest, you can find it. You just have to search it out. And then if you ever need to slow down, just go sit by the lake. It's beautiful. It can clear your mind really quick.
I'll just weigh in. I think my favorite Wells tradition is the honor code. I've been at other institutions where you really had to be concerned about how students were perceiving their work, the authenticity, the reliability of their effort. Even, honesty is a hallmark here, both in academic performance, but in the way people live their life. I am here. My doors, if I'm here on campus, my door is open, wide open all the time. And I have never, in the time I've been here, I've never worried about anything in my office walking away. Sometimes people come in and look around my office, but that's okay. But it's an important part of that. And students take it very seriously. I don't have to worry about them. If they want to take a test someplace, go take the test and come on back. So.
And I was just going to share, it's not really a tradition, but in this COVID year that we've all had, it's for me, it's really brought back how valuable it is to be around human beings. And that includes Professor Schnurr, who's my office neighbor, and others on campus and off, and the interaction with real students and real faculty and staff. It's phenomenal, and it's so valuable just for the soul and the mind, as well as everything else, that I really appreciate it more after this year of COVID. And I think many of our students do as well. It does make a difference to be somewhere where people will talk to you and say hi, and it makes a difference.
I guess I have to say something as well, because everyone else did. My favorite tradition at Wells is not really a tradition, it's how students help each other out. I was an undergraduate at Cornell. People actually sabotaged each other. They were not there to help each other out. And what I've loved most about Wells is how supportive students are of one another. And, if someone's having a problem, everyone's there to help. And so that's going to be my favorite thing about being at Wells.
I want to thank our panelists, and I want to thank all of you for joining us and diving a little bit deeper into this aspect of Wells College. And there's indeed so much more as well. Again, please make plans, if you haven't already, to visit our campus. We want to see you here and welcome you and show you in person all that we have to offer. This doesn't have to be the end of the conversation, of course, as well. And so you are free to reach out and connect with any one of us to continue the conversation. Here's our contact information. So send us an email and we're happy to talk with you further about your interest in Wells. Thank you so much, and have a great evening. Take care.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.